actually live. Don't tell me it's wanting me to change the orientation back. God, good morning. Is this the right way up this time? Let's check that the sound is okay this morning. I'm not too sure. It is live, isn't it? Yeah, it is live. Someone tell me in the comments that the sound is okay. Anyway, good morning, welcome to the One Celtic Fans View. A little bit of a change of location this morning. Joseph Davison's given me a thumbs up, so it should be all fine. Big breaking news this morning. Let me just make sure this microphone's up right a bit. The big breaking news this morning is Nikkun is Celtic are expecting an offer of around about 15 million from RB Leipzig for Nikkun, which I think is 15 million a good bit of money for Nikkun. I'm just going to show you this location first of all. So this is where I am this morning, sitting on a beach just down the road from me. Anyway, that's enough of that nonsense. I've got a decent enough signal. That seems to be all right. Anyway, Nikkun, 15 million. Is that a good bit of business, or is it not enough for Nikkun? Nikkun, who pretty much down tools towards the end of last season. Well, as soon as Jota came in, didn't he? He kind of down tools and take it all day long for Nikkun, says Lanky. We've got 3 winners, so brilliant piece of business. Where's this beach? It's just down from Cabo Roig, the bottom of the Costa Blanca South. We'll see if this guy's going to give me a coffee or not. Right, he's going to them first. Anyway, the beach, yeah, it's just down from Cabo Roig. So 15 million for Kun should. I can't even do a poll because I'm not on the laptop. Buenas. Una café con leche, tostada, tomate y atún. Perfect, gracias. Should be 20 million for Kun. Is he a 20 million pound player though? You know, he was good. I would take the 15 million all day long. Michelle says it's not enough. Joke of a deal. Is it a joke of a deal? I mean, he's a player that didn't cost us too much money, and I think that getting 15 million pounds for him, Celtic will see it as a good piece of business. It's a player that, let's face it, did he do enough whilst he was at Celtic the second half of the season? He can't really get past players. He can't take on players. Yeah, I know, Mikey boy. I don't think that he's a player that did enough the second half of the season. For me, personally, I don't know what you think, but I mean, he was fantastic when we were in the Champions League, and he kind of down tools after it. I think that he thought that the SPFL. I'm just reading some of the comments. I think that he's a player that down tools the second half of the season, and he never lived up to the expectation that I think that Brendan Rodgers would have put on the player and himself. I think he's a player that thought it was going to be easy, and I think, and especially when it comes to the Scottish Cup final, I think he was a player when it came to the Scottish Cup final, just thought he would need to turn up on the day. You know, turn up on the day and do what he thinks he's is enough to do as a player. And let's face it, I don't think it is. I think that he feels that the league is below him. I don't know, just a reaction to the way that he was the second half of the season. Roughly double what we paid for him to go back to Germany. I always thought he was Premiership bound. I don't think he would have went to the Premiership, because if he wants to get into the German national team, I think he needs to be playing in Germany, and he will know that himself. There's not many players that go to Germany, go to England and play in the German national team on a regular basis. You know, if he really wants to get noticed by the national manager, and go to RB Leipzig, let's face it, it's not a bad team to go to. So yeah, he got found out, got lazy. says Joseph Murphy. Yeah, he did, didn't he? Just didn't want to take on players, and it's not what's and his crossing just wasn't what it was. And maybe that's why Brendan Rodgers has been so adamant to get in so many wingers in this window. Other breaking news, it was said last night that Celtic have done the deal for... Yeah, he scored 2 goals against Leipzig, and he played for Leipzig when he was younger. Brown Warrior says, I agree with you, Baz, is an arrogant thing. James Forrest came and changed the game. Yeah, he did, didn't he? He did get him punted. You want players that know that when it's a hard game for Celtic, and I don't mean like a hard game in the Champions League, a game where you're up against it, and a game where you're having to dig in. And I think that was the problem with Nikkun. He didn't like the digging in part. He's one of these European players that think that, you just kind of turn up and you do your thing. And I think that Nikkun, as a Celtic player, didn't like the rough and tumble side of the Scottish game. I don't think he liked the man-on-man marking, the doubling up, players doubling up on, and it happens all the time in Scottish football. Gracias. It happens all the time in Scottish football. Players will double up on wingers and try and nullify the game. Buenas. Perfecto, gracias. Oh, look at that tostada. Oh, I am going to have to eat this. But yeah, the reason I'm down here is I had to take the dog to the groomers, and this beach was close by, so I thought I'm not going to be able to get back up the road in time to do the live. So yeah, let's just head down the beach and do a live from down the beach. I quite like doing this down here actually. It's quite good. Morning, Kaiser. Stayed in Kirkcaldy for a while, Mill Street, behind the ground. Jesus, you stayed in Mill Street. I wouldn't admit to that. That's Smeaton territory. Kaiser, that's Hun territory. Just get this olive oil all over the tostada. Do you know what I love about here? It is they cover everything in olive oil, and it's so good for you. On an off note, they cover their bread in olive oil because it does something with the carbs for the bread, and it doesn't bloat your stomach as much. Plenty of salt on it. You need your salt. You need coffee. So yeah, any bikini babes on the beach? Perverts. Oh, there's a big plane just taking off. There is one actually down there. I don't know if you see it. Can't really see it. That's enough of that nonsense anyway. I'm trying to do a Celtic video. That's there in North Ayrshire town. Either side of me or Sevco territory. Yeah, it is Sevco territory. But anyway, it looks like Celtic have got the deal done for the young Fulham player. It looks like he's on a 5-year deal. Fantastic piece of business for Celtic. What does that mean for... What does it mean for Johnny Kenny? Is Johnny Kenny... Lanky said that Johnny Kenny is going to go out on loan. I think that it's looking more like that Johnny Kenny will be the make-weight for this young guy for Fulham coming in. Celtic are still in the market from... Baz, the shoreline at Largs looks great this morning. It does that. Don't get a tostada at Largs though, do you? Look at that. Oh, look at that. Tuna for breakfast. Brilliant. Johnny Kenny is definitely going out on loan, says Lanky. Yeah, I think so. And it would be good for him because Celtic see him as a long-term replacement. I think, personally, Celtic see him as a long-term replacement for Adam Ida. The two of them are quite similar players. Johnny Kenny's went out on loan as a young kid. He came to Celtic as a wee skinny guy, and he's came back. He's came back a player that is matured, and not only in age but in stature. I mean, his physicality has grown as a player. Celtic will want to develop that further, so that he's a ready-made replacement for Adam Ida in a few years' time, which is fantastic for the club because it saves Celtic. Do you know what? It saves Celtic going into the £10 million bracket if we can develop the player in the correct manner. And anyone that knows the way that Celtic are and the way that we're not producing enough talent through the system, Johnny Kenny is different for everyone that came. I know that he didn't come through the academy, but we bought him at a young age, And Johnny Kenny is a player that knows and trusts Brendan Rodgers and knows and trusts what Celtic are trying to do to him with his career. Tuna for breakfast. Yeah, Monty, tuna for breakfast. Tostada, tomato, olive oil, tuna. I'm not eating it live on camera. Wait till I'm finished. And a coffee. Typical Spanish breakfast. Now this full English or full Irish nonsense. Definitely something fishy going on. Yeah, there is something fishy going on today, Lanky. There is that. But anyway, yeah, Johnny Kenny. I think it would be a good move for him to go out. And people are saying, oh, it's going to ruin his career. And it's not. Johnny Kenny goes out on loan. He comes back a player that gets some first team experience. He then becomes a natural progression just for me. Morning Baz and Troops says Big Des. Celtic should sign the Dundee United guy. He was on loan to Derby last season. I'm not too sure who that is. I think Celtic are going to announce 3 players this week. They're obviously going to sign. They're going to announce the young Fulham guy. They're going to announce Benji, and I think he's the replacement for Nikkun. Will they manage to get in the other winger that they've been looking at this week? And it's looking like Brendan Rodgers is getting his way, which is fantastic for me. 2 rolls and square sausage beats that tuna pish, says Monty. Yeah, and your stomach will be ruined and you put on loads of weight. And look at the calories that's in that as well. See, it's to their own. You have a Scottish breakfast, I have a Spanish breakfast. Sam Darby from United. 2 things faster, which is better? I don't know. Can go for 15 million, 20% add-on. Will there be a 20% add-on at 15 million? I think there's more likely to be maybe a 10 million, maybe a 10% add-on clause. And if he goes to RB Leipzig, is there a chance of him progressing as a player and getting a bigger move after that? Away for a full Scottish after the live, says Mikey. My stomach couldn't do a full Scottish. There's far too much fat in it as I just dip my biscuit in my coffee. We need to get Rodgers on a new deal, says Monty. With the fact that he's signing players on 5-year deals, he's got Kieran Tierney on a 5-year deal. I think that Brendan Rodgers, it's been said that Brendan Rodgers is already going to sign a 2-year extension. He does have a year left. You're obviously roughing it, Baz. I am that. Me and my son have been talking about Nico since he came. Myself, he thinks he's better than he really is and can't adapt to the Scottish game. Yep. Who was it said that? Was Hank. Yeah, Hank, you're pretty much right. I think that he's a player that thought it was going to be easy in Scotland. You know, and he was going to be able to take on players and he's going to do his fancy stuff and he wasn't wanting to get stuck in. And I think that's what's let him down as a player. And especially since Jota came back to Celtic. He's definitely, he's never turned up, has he? I need to take a bit of this, sorry. Not had any breakfast. There you go, I'll let you just see the wonderful view. I should do more of these, just do them for down on the beach. You want to go large? I'm going to breakfast, Brown Warrior. Guys are saying hello to everyone on the chat. Good morning, everyone says Lorna. It's a bit of a different video this morning, Lorna. I was taking the dog down to the groomers and I wasn't going to get home in time, so I thought I'm just going to go to one of the beach bars. It looks as if the board are giving Brendan the cash. Says to me, we'll sign a new deal, says Joseph. Yeah, I think so as well. I think the fact that they're getting the players in that he wants, in a football sense, says that he's not going to go anywhere. Is that the Clyde? No, it's not the Clyde. I just read. I went down the wrong hole. Or something you want to say on the beach? Let's just do that. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be a busy week when it comes to signings for Celtic. Empty Celts. Big Rab B says, morning everyone, get more done is done from the beach, mate. Rangers belong to the Vatican. The Costa del Clyde Riviera. It is that, isn't it? But whilst it's all quiet this morning when it comes to Celtic making any announcements, I think the time to look out for will be roughly around about 6 p.m. tonight, Celtic part time, and then tomorrow. Kaiser, I don't think so. Not a chance. No, it's good. So when it comes to strikers, I wonder what striker we'll get in, because obviously getting in the young guy for Fulham, he's going to be the third choice striker. Who do you think that Celtic will bring in as a number one? They're not going to go into the season with Adam Ida as number one. Although he can score, we still need a second choice or a first choice striker. I don't think that Dyson Maeda, I don't think the media is going to be, if we can keep a hold of him. Will Brendan Rodgers just go with, do you know what, we're just going to play Dyson through the middle? But then it does take a player off the wing. So we are bringing in wingers. But Benji, that's coming in from Sweden, he can play as a striker and as a winger. So maybe Brendan Rodgers is going for that kind of player that can give him more. That's a good idea, actually. I just thought of that, because if he's got Dyson Maeda that can play on both wings and as a striker, you bring in Benji from Sweden who can do the exact same. He can play on both wings and as a striker. So it gives you 3 different options as striker, and then the young Fulham guy. So it gives you 4 striking options. And it also allows them to change the formation. So it allows Brendan Rodgers, Mavovsky, there's talk of that. He's not had a good time of it in Spain. There is talk that he could come to Celtic if they can do a cut price. It would be just like Celtic. Lanky says, I'm going to say it now, Maeda first choice, then Ida, then Osmond. We ain't bringing in another striker, it's more about the wingers and cover for midfield, says Lanky. I'm not too sure. Because you want a prolific, I mean, I know Dyson's a good striker, but you want someone, maybe the young guy that's coming in for Fulham, maybe they do see him as a sort of long-term replacement for Kyogo Furuhashi. Awful lot of aircraft going over. The military bases just down the road that had an air show on yesterday. What do you think about the rumours about bringing centre-back? Yeah, the left-back centre-back, Michelle. Glad you mentioned that, because I forgot all about it. He plays left-back. Celtic have been linked with him. He can play left-back defence and left-back. It would be cover for Kieran Tierney. We're probably going to get him on a decent... So you never know. I think there's going to be a few names that are going to be wide of the mark. Baz is currently sat in the children's corner of the shorefront at Rossi. That tuna is actually rainbow trout for the lock. Yeah, of course it is. Big Des, personally I believe that we need another striker just in case Adam Ida doesn't hit the ground running. Agree, mate, on Brendan Rodgers' extended contract. Yeah, I mean, Lanky said that he's going to sign a 2-year extension, which would mean that we've got another 3 seasons of him. That would be 5 years at Celtic. The manager's already said, look, you've kind of got a lifespan. Players have a lifespan at Celtic and any modern club. Players have a lifespan, managers have a lifespan. Will that be Brendan Rodgers? I mean, he doesn't need the money. I mean, we all know that he doesn't need the money. He's set up for life as Brendan, financially. He's got his holiday home, his couple of £1 million holiday home, and Mallorca. He wanted to take a year off and spend it there. You won't get that in Japan. Me thinks he's a little bit smaller and too lightweight. Near the big bruiser, you won't get that in Japan. Those planes are Fife Arena and flying Republican column there, that. And don't think the Japanese defenders are physically up to it, like Kobayashi. The fact that he's a left back, Michelle, I think that Brendan Rodgers is looking at him more as a left back and a bit of pace. You know that the Japanese have got a ton of pace on them, so maybe that's why they're looking to bring him in. We need cover for Kieran Tierney. We know that. We need cover for Kieran Tierney all day long. So, you never know. I still think that Celtic are going to bring in a player that none of us are heard of and none of us are talking about. It'll come out the blue completely. And Josh Doig, yeah, there is that rumour going around as well for left back. Like I say, we've been linked with that many people. Until the medical is booked, that's when you know it's a done deal. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this week. You know that, well, we all know that they're back in training potentially a week on Monday. Transfer window does open today, and I think it'll be good to see what business is done this week. Oi, oi. Oi, oi, Savloy. I mean, need to make a new toast, tuna toasty now. Now you have to have tomato on it. It's got tomato on it. Crushed up tomato, olive oil and tuna. It's brilliant. Typical Spanish breakfast. As I'm just watching some people, scantily clad, enter the water. We're going down the Japanese route just to buy some sumo wrestlers and plank them in front of goal. No, not a chance. Doig will cost us too much to be back up. Tatty's on the beach in the morning, Baz. Are the first team moving to a new training facility? Are the first team moving to the new training facility? No. I think that they may use it for... they'll use it rather than using the Celtic Park before they go on their travels on a Europe, because you know that they train at Celtic Park before they travel to a European game. So what the facility down the road from Celtic Park will do, it'll mean that they can get in a proper training session just down the road for the ground rather than out at Lennoxtown. It's not ideal. It's £20 million. It needs to start giving a return with the youth development side of it. It's for the women's football, allegedly. But who knows? Anyway, just hope the CCV, like I said last night, we must not risk anything. Well, there's news this morning that I think Leeds and another club are interested in Cameron Carter-Vickers. Let's just hope that they don't come in with a big offer. Cameron Carter-Vickers is happy at Celtic, he's happy where he is. Celtic can't afford to get rid of Cameron Carter-Vickers because, yeah, Leeds is a step down. Anything from Celtic is a step down, let's face it. But I think Cameron wouldn't go to Leeds because he knows that if he wants to stay and play in the national team, he needs to be playing Champions League level football. Few Japanese players in the league around Europe who aren't shrinking violets. Yeah, this is true. Anyway, there's quite a lot of people online this morning. Just shows you I do a different location. There's this one. Oh. Oh, darn it. Here we go. This is why the Japanese rumour is not good enough. The CCV off steroids. Lanky says, I just don't know, CCV hasn't been that great this season. He's not... I understand what you're saying, Lanky, and he's not had the best of seasons, but he's the best of what we've got. He's the best what we've got. Do you know? And is that a good situation for Celtic to be in, or is it too much? I mean, we need to. Will Rocky become the go-to player in defence? I don't know. He can't jump lanky. He can't, can he? He needs to. I think that Brendan Rodgers would want our defenders to score more goals from corners. I think this is where our defenders currently let us down. At the moment, I'm going to say that, this with the chest. When Rocky started, he's been better than CCV. Well, he cost 4.3 million. He's younger than CCV. Brendan Rodgers has kept him on the periphery. Can he be a player that improves? Will he go out on loan, improve, and then come back to Celtic? Does he need to go out on loan? That thing just went on itself, Baz. Or is the arthritis getting worse? What? Anyway, right, stick with Rocky. There's something about him. Yeah, there is something about Rocky, isn't there? He's a player that's potentially... He was brought in to be a number one centre-back. The defence has also struggled to deal with a lot of balls last season, Baz. It needs to be addressed. Yeah, it does. It's not just corners that you know, our defenders scoring from corners. It's about the corners that we give away, and about, you know, we've conceded a few goals, and we're not the best at defending corners, are we? I don't want CCV to leave. We should also be prepared for exits, says Monty. We should always be prepared for exits. I think that, but there's no standout in the team that can take his place. Rocky can come in, but is he... We need a big Bobo type player, don't we? We need a Bobo Baldi, Yusuf Al-Haran type player, an Alan Stubbs. Do you know, we need an Alan Stubbs type player as well. A player that when he gets the ball and he comes out from defence, he's not just going to pass it side to side. A defender that's got one of those diagonal balls. Stubbs was brilliant at it. Stubbs would bring the ball to the defence and he could do a diagonal ball out to a winger and it would land at his feet. You know, Stubbs was brilliant at that at Celtic. It would just... Paul Elliott. Yeah, Paul Elliott's type player. But we do need someone that can mix it up a bit. That's just not going to try and... I mean, Liam Scales is fine and he does his marauding runs through the front. Cameron Carter-Vickers has done it. But we do need someone that is good on the ball, not just an animal in the park. I'd bench Trusty and bring in Rocky Scales during the season if we don't find anyone. Yeah, there's a good Mulgrew. Yeah, Mulgrew was brilliant as well. One of the best in the last 15 years or so. Yeah, Brown Warrior, that's true. Mulgrew was a cracking defender. Anyway, I'm going to wind this video up so that I can finish my tostada. That's got a bit cold. Another Virgil out there. We need to find him. Yeah, we do. Another Virgil Malby. 38 likes and 220 watching. It's probably been more. That's just how many is watching at the current moment. Lanky. Anyway, I'm going to turn this round and we'll give you a little bit to look at before we finish the video up. What's the friendly that played at Celtic Park? Bobo came out and flattened someone. Yeah. Cheers, Baz. Troops, says Big Des. Ooft. Put that away. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little live this morning. It is a little bit different. I might do some more of these over the summer, just to get out of the house and out the missus here. Anyway, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world. I'll just switch this off. Nudie beach tomorrow, Baz. The paradise found it is constant blue skies, that's why I stay here. Anyway, catch us at 8 PM Celtic Park